Thank you for making the time to join us today on this Q&A. This is a candid discussion. We're going to have various topics. I'll take your questions and I'll do my best to answer what I know and what I can answer for you. Okay. We are going to conduct this in a friendly manner. No one should hurt anybody else with any words or opinions. Everybody's opinions reflect their own. So with that, I have to let you know also that the meeting is being recorded and we will be sharing the video on social platforms. And finally, the meeting is for fun and entertainment purposes. This is not a mediumship or psychic demonstration. This is just a Q&A session.
I'd like to know about my husband. I don't feel him around me anymore, but he did die 18 years ago. It's just that I pray to him every night to come.
Did you feel him previously and now you don't?
I did, yeah.
Okay. This occurs quite a lot. I'm not quite sure why exactly. People give you opinions. I'm giving you facts from what I know. So what I know is we go through a peak where there's increased activity with them issuing signs, visitations, dreams, and interactions, and then they sort of cut off. Why they cut off, I have no idea. My personal opinion, it seems that they have to pull back to allow us and give us time to grow, perhaps. They're not gone anywhere. They're just on an, think of it as an intermission until such time when it is suitable again for them to reconnect. I know you miss him, and unfortunately, the process cannot be accelerated. It has to follow a certain pattern, a certain timeline, and hopefully, and I will pray that you will actually reconnect with him here. Okay, so give it time and persist in what you're doing.
Okay.
Now, I've had people where the link is severed for a little while, and then it comes back, and when it comes back much stronger than when it started.
That would be nice.
Yeah, so brace yourself for that, Fran. And I pray this will be the case for you.
Thank you.
Sure, my dear.
I would like to start meditating. I understand meditation and can bring you closer to your spirit guides, but I had a very bad experience when I was younger, and so it makes me afraid to open myself up. Even though I protected myself, it was a very, very bad experience. And my question is, how can I open myself up, even though I'm feeling protected, and not encounter, it was a very demonic experience, and not encounter that again. It makes me afraid to open up again.
Okay.
And I'd like to be able to connect to my spirit guide if I can.
Janet, I received your email, but I was pressed for time, so I was unable to actually reply to you. Would you be so kind, if you feel that it's appropriate, to share with the group your experience so they can have a background as to what we're going to discuss in a minute?
Right. Well, as a kid, I used to have dead people come and sit on my bed at night and try to talk to me. And so I would hide myself under the covers. And it terrified me because I didn't understand it. And as I got older, I was able to, I would meet people, and then I would see things that happened like in their past. And I would know, like, oh, you had a dog that was this, or you did this with your grandmother, or whatever. And these things would come to me kind of like in a form of a movie. And so I was having trouble understanding everything about it. And so a friend had recommended, it was a place in the city I was living in where it was like a spiritual learning, and it was like a spiritual church, and it was very God-based, biblically based, but and so I started going. And about the third night that I went, they were doing a regression on one of the women there. And I had never seen regression, didn't really know anything about it. So I kind of stood back away and watched. And as this woman regressed, her face literally, I know no one's going to believe me, but her face literally changed. It almost twisted, and this very demonic voice came out. And so they started talking to this, and they kept asking, "Who are you?" And he was saying things like, "Well, I'm one of them." And they're like, "Well, where is Susie," or whatever this woman's name was? And his comment was, "Well, she's with us." And, "Well, who's us?" And it was just this very frightening demonic thing. And then they tried to bring her back, and they had trouble getting her to come back. He was like, he wouldn't let go. And when he finally, everybody prayed around her, and he left her I wasn't the only one that saw this, but it was like a ball of fire came out of her and went into me and up and out. And it scared me to death. And everybody was like, "Did you see that? Did you see that?" And I was terrified. For years, I was terrified. So I completely, every time I sense anything or I start to get anything, I immediately have just cut myself off from that. And my concern is, I'm afraid, even though we had protection from God and I was praying, I still encountered this. So I'm afraid to open up again. And then my other question is, if you have this gift, if this is a gift that I've been given, then is this something that I need to develop? And then if so, how do you go about developing it? Because I know nothing about it and I'm afraid.
Janet, thank you very much for all the information you've provided here. First of all, I am very sorry that you went through such an experience. Okay. It must be terrifying.
It
And
was
no
very
one,
terrifying.
no one here can dispute what you've encountered, what you've experienced. No one can say that, oh, it was your imagination. We can't easily dismiss these things. First of all, allow me to make my position clear on this regression stuff. With all due respect to people's beliefs here, but I do not subscribe to this. Regression means going into a past, and why? Why bother? Stay in the present. You're here for a reason. Stay connected with the present and fulfill the future. This is how I see it. The past doesn't serve a purpose. So people want to go to the past and discover things. Well, I see that it's pointless. In this case, some sort of entity was unleashed. And this is what I find comical. By the way, I have to make it clear that I am an ordained minister myself, and I am also an exorcist. Now, when we are dealing with these entities, we need to always remember, we don't know what we're dealing with. I know I'm dealing now with Janet Rose. I know Janet Rose is dealing with me, Garo. And I know the names of the people who are here. Let me mute myself or take off the video. You ask me, who are you? I can say 100,000 names. It doesn't mean that it reflects the truth. They will lie, they will deny, they will hide. This is the way that they operate. So the fact that they're asking them, who are you, and so forth, shows me that these guys are amateurs. They don't know what they're doing. The Lord's Prayer absolutely will work if there is genuine faith behind it. And please don't take it the wrong way. I don't mean you. I mean the persons who are running the circle. The persons running the circle, they have to be the anchor. If they are anchored in faith, undisputed faith, nothing in this world can enter the circle, affect the attendees, or affect anyone, available or not unavailable. They will not be allowed to cross the seal. This is what I do with my workshops. This is what I do with my readings. This is what I do with my healing work. and with my exorcism work, I seal it so that nothing can penetrate or enter or affect us in a negative way. And should something does take me by surprise, then I deal with it at its level in an appropriate manner. I never succumb to it, like, who are you? No, to hell with that. I don't want to know who it is. I know one thing, you are not welcome. I don't care who you are. And where is this and where is that? I'm not going to play into any false answers. I make sure to give them a nice kicking, get them out, and then end of the story. We're dealing with something that has intruded. It's not something that has been conjured or welcome or whatever. So please, here I have to ask you to take a step back and think within yourself, why is it that you want to achieve what you want to achieve? Is it for personal fulfillment or for the service of others, or a mix of both?
Personally, I'd like to be able to understand my purpose of being here, and understand more what I'm supposed to be doing. I've been in the healthcare field for 40 years, and I've felt like I've fulfilled and helped people in what I do. I know I do, but I've always felt like I should be doing something else in helping people. And I've always felt like something's missing and I can't figure it out. And I've always wanted to be able to meditate and be more relaxed, but I really like to be able to get more guidance in where I should be and what I should be doing. And that's very difficult for me because I'm afraid to open up.
Okay.
So even though I constantly protect myself,
there's two things here I need to address. First of all, I would say pray for guidance. And if
I
you
do.
don't, okay, if you don't receive anything, then sit back and don't do anything. Because when it's your time to be in service, when it's your time to develop your ability or the gift that you have, whatever way you see this, they will come through to you, whether it's a dream or a communication of some sort. The blessed angels will let you know exactly why you're here and what they expect of you. But before we go to that level, I would say start praying and ask the blessed angels to heal your heart and to take away the fear from you. Okay? Ask them to help you, take it away. Because you cannot be an instrument and be of service to others with the fear inside you.
Okay. And then these things that happened to me when I was younger, is this something that I should be developing? I mean, am I supposed to develop that, or?
The visitations when they would come and sit on your bed. Okay.
Yeah.
Were they familiar people or were they
No.
strangers? Okay.
Some of them spoke in languages I didn't even know.
Okay. Did you feel harmed by any of them? Were you physically harmed or?
No, I wasn't physically harmed. It was frightening. As a child, it's very frightening.
Sure, I can understand. I mean, I know exactly where you're coming from. I had similar experiences. So,
yeah.
I mean, it defies the 2 + 2 equation and the child can get easily confused and so forth. However, since there was no harm, and I doubt very much that they would have harmed you, I would say that, yes, indeed, you have the ability there, but rather than develop the ability, don't put the cart before the horse. Let's put the horse before the cart. Go through the healing process. Ask the blessed angels to help you with that. When you feel sufficiently ready and that you are over it, and remember, this is going to take some time now, because what you witnessed had an impact on you. There's the print, the imprint.
Yeah.
If you are sufficiently ready, contact me again, and I will probably guide you on what to do next. Okay?
Okay.
But for now, just focus on that. Do you live near woods or forest, or do you have access to a garden area or water?
I do.
Yeah. Go out to Mother
Right.
Nature every day for the next week, and that's where you say your private prayer.
Okay.
Okay, not at home, not in bed, but outside in Mother Nature where you can absorb the energy and sit in silence before. You know, let's not rush this. Go out silently, and then when you feel that you are earthed or grounded enough within yourself, talk to them and say, please heal my heart. I need you to heal me, please. And
Yeah,
then
because this has stuck with me for a long time.
I
Yeah.
can
Okay.
understand. Okay, well done, Janet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me here. I would have two questions. And one of them might be a bit amusing. So if you think is amusing, then please ignore it. I'm not really sure about whether to believe or not in kind of numbers or seeing certain numbers at certain times or whatever. But I think, and I'm really not looking into this. I'm really not following this. I'm not really, I'm not even interested in seeing this, but many, many times and wherever I look, whether I look on a phone or in just places where I don't expect to see a certain number, I can see these how to say this, because I'm not native English speaker, like the round hour, like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, everything. So, and it is like every day. And I'm not obsessed by this. I'm trying almost, I feel like annoyed by seeing this all the time. And I think it started to happen a few months ago. So I don't know whether to believe this is something or it's just like pure coincidence, or it's really something that I should take into account, because I read many things, but people can say many things.
Is this question the one that you said it might be amusing? And
Yes, that's the silly one. Yeah.
okay, it's not silly at all.
No. Okay.
Can we address this one before we proceed to the second one?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, Anna, I'm not an expert on these number things. I myself see numbers as well, like 11, 11, 12, 12. Sometimes I see them and I can't explain them. Some people will tell you, oh, it's the angels sending you a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, it's this. And so many people will write and talk is cheap. It's there. So I don't know. Sometimes I see 9/11 and the first thing that comes to my mind is the horror of 9/11. Or I think also maybe 9/11 because I do work with law enforcement at times doing the work that I do. So I'm not quite sure. I really don't know. Don't let it annoy you. There's no reason for you to be annoyed. It's just there occurring. I would say rather than be fixed or focus on the numbers, send out a message like, if anyone wants to say something or if there's something that I need to be doing, please let me know. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's when probably you might change the thing, if indeed there is an intelligence behind it. If there isn't, then maybe it's coincidence. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
What's the second one?
The second question is a bit more, so it happened to me, I think it happens since I know myself really, but it does happen. I mean, I have a couple of years since I started a bit to go deeper into meditation and into reading about spirituality and self-realization and stuff like that. And maybe I'm a bit more receptive to this, but when I fall asleep, even if I don't necessarily go to sleep, so I just fall asleep because I'm working very, very much and I'm very tired. In the moment when I kind of slip into sleep, or how to say, I'm not asleep. I want to explain that I'm not asleep. I'm almost asleep,
Okay.
I hear like almost real voices, real sounds. And I wake up, of course. I'm not really waking up because I'm awake anyway, but it's like almost like even if I close my eyes for like a few seconds,
Yeah.
I hear something and I open my eyes and I say, okay, there's that. But there's the only moment when it happens. I don't otherwise see anything or hear any voices or anything like that. But just that moment when I'm kind of flowing into the sleepy,
Yes.
And I'm wondering what is this, because it happened in the past. For instance, when I was pregnant 3 years and a half ago, closing my eyes like that, I heard a scream, like a real scream. That was the only time when I heard something like this. But otherwise, I did hear voices that I don't recognize by just saying either. I think once I heard my name being said, but otherwise I can't even say what they say, and sometimes because I lost my mom in 2021. Sometimes I hear her voice, like, again, I don't know what she says. It's very rare, it's not often, but it looks like she's saying something, kind of say, okay, mom, you are busy or something, but again, it might be because my brain is kind of tired, working, I don't know, or it might be something more than that.
Okay. Well, I think quite a few people have similar experiences. Okay. It's not uncommon, by the way. Doctors and the scientific world will tell you it's the brain's activity and blah and blah and blah. It could be. I don't know. A psychic will tell you, oh, it's the other side. You're communicating, you're opening up. I would say it's probably a combination of both. We are probably, because we are sophisticated machines, after all, biological entities. And we are, when you put yourself to sleep, probably the mind is still active, perhaps. However, we're not here to discuss science. We're here to discuss the paranormal. From a paranormal perspective, I don't rule out that basically when we are so relaxed, we become automatically open, and then we become more attuned to the other side. And because we're not focusing on the communication as such, because we're not, in that sort of zone, then what we perceive may not be very clear, may be choppy. And this way we can't make sense of much of it. And some of it seems surreal. Like what is being said? Languages, different things. So every one of us here has the ability, a sort of an ability. This is what makes us human, really. We all have a sensitivity, we all have an ability, but at varying levels in different ways. Know within yourself that you have that ability. So that's what it's about. It doesn't harm you, it doesn't hurt you, and there is no harm that's coming through. If you ask someone fundamentalist, they will say, oh, beware, these are demons, these are so forth. But where's the harm? Bottom line, has a crime been committed? No. So if it hasn't been committed, then I can't see harm in that. However, I would say don't consciously engage with them, because you are not in a state of mind where you are ready to be engaging with someone you don't know on the other side. We don't know where's the communication originating from. Okay, so in that case, you just know that, okay, it's occurring, and just shut down and go to bed. But it's quite something. I've had it happen. I've had people shout out my name, and I'm thinking like, oh, did I hear that? It's so real.
It's so real, isn't it?
Yes,
It's like
absolutely.
almost, it's like you hear it in that moment then, and you can even when you open the eyes, you remember, you have that noise in your ear. You remember that noise, you remember the voice. Of course, I forget it after that, but then right in that moment is absolutely so real. Yeah.
I've also once, and for entertainment value, I also heard two people discussing something, and they were using foul language and giggling and laughing, and it
Mhm.
made me laugh because like it's conversation,
Yeah.
a couple of guys having a conversation and they're laughing, and I
Yeah.
started to laugh. So I see no harm. So well done, and hopefully one day, I pray that this will be the beginning of a visitation from your mom to you. Okay, perhaps this is an establishing a link from her to you.
Hello, thank you. It's similar to what's been asked, I think, already, but if you think, and as I do, and I think you do, that there's demonic or bad entities out there as well as good spirits and things, and we believe that they lie and they're not going to tell the truth and they can present themselves like anything. If I do, hear something or see something or think, it's my a grandfather or it's so and so, how do I know that it's them and it's not a demon pretending to be them? Is there any way, is there any clue or anything that would make you think one or the other?
Okay, bless you again for a lovely question. In my 30 plus years of experience and in service, I've only encountered a demonic force, demonic forces on limited occasions. Okay, rest assured that, thank God, that they are not out in full force. So they are not predominant in our existence. It's very hard to determine, because let me explain to you something, Joanne. It's enough as it is that we have to deal with con men and scammers on this side of life. Never mind someone who is empowered from the other side of life, who comes with experience, who comes with advantages we don't have because they see us, we don't see them. So it's extremely difficult. But what we have over them, and that's what they hate, is intuition, especially with females. That's why if you look into the history and stuff, poltergeist activity or hauntings and stuff, mainly targeting females. They absolutely hate females. That's why scumbag men hate females. They don't like you guys because you see them, you see through them, and you make their job much more difficult. So I would say, first of all, trust your instinct, because your instinct will tell you, something is not right here. The alarm bell is going. They will try to appeal to your reason. They will try to appeal to your emotion. When this doesn't work, this will work. When it's a true communication, it will come through as clear as the day, and you will feel it in the core of you. You will feel. You will not even doubt it. There will be no room to doubt. You'll feel it. When I've had visitations, I know it's them. There's no way anything. However, I've had shapeshifters. I've had entities that posed as someone else come through when I'm doing healing or something, and they have fooled me very sadly. They've fooled me maybe on a few occasions until I learned to see through them. Bottom line, intuition.
When you had those sort of, the shapeshifter experiences, did you feel like scared, or did you feel differently to how you would normally feel?
Joanne, again, if I can't pretend I'm Rambo, we are human at the end of the day. To say that, oh, I wasn't scared, that would be arrogant. But when you're in the front line in service of others, because I am in a situation where I need to help someone who's suffering from being possessed or having an attachment, or I need to do a house clearance. If you have fear in you, then don't go there in the first place. I mean, if you have fear that you can't control. So I go in knowing that I'm controlling my fear. I'm a strong believer in our Lord Jesus Christ. And I believe in my heart that once I've recited the Lord's Prayer, I don't care about what's there, shapeshifters or bananas or apples or whatever it is. I'm there for a purpose, and I feel protected in my heart. But again, they do have an advantage. We're dealing with forces that are well beyond us. But the bottom line, you have to know within yourself, if you are dealing with things at that level, are you ready to accept the consequences? I've been hurt. I've been badly hurt, physically hurt, and assaulted by them. But do I give a damn? I don't. Because to me, it's an honor to be hurt for my work for Christ. So I don't care.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's me.
Yeah, hi. So I've had a couple of experiences with Ouija boards, I think. What do you feel about them? And
I have been meaning to write an article about this to post on the group. However, other mediums may disagree with me or agree with me or whatever. Erica, would you open your door, the front door, and leave it open for tonight?
no,
Why not?
something bad will come in.
I'm sorry?
Something bad is going to come in.
Well, not necessarily bad, but anyone can come in.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, that's what the Ouija board does. They put their hands on this thing. Are you good? Are you bad? And well, if I'm bad, I'm not going to say, hi, Erica. I'm here to break you to pieces and I'm going to ruin your life. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, of course I'm good, Erica. I'm a cuddly little puppy. That's how I'm going to present myself. So they opened themselves up to things. And guess how many people I've helped in the church who I've worked with because of Ouija boards. Very sadly, so many of them mess about with this thing. I am totally against it. There is a rule, there is a code of conduct in dealing with natural law. You have to follow it through. First of all, fundamental thing here, the foundation is faith. Second of all, when I work with the other side, which I do on a daily basis, this is what I do and have been doing for so many years. I don't just go in gung-ho and say, okay, here we go, let's open up and communicate. No. There's a routine. I start with a prayer and then I ask for permission. I ask for permission to be of service. And when I feel adequately protected, when I feel, and I know the tingling sensation I get, I feel the blessed angels around me, I feel that the setting is correct. And then I proceed. Without asking for permission, without making sure that the area is sealed, the setting is sealed, there's no way on earth I would do what I do. Some mediums, I'm fascinated. They'd be drinking at a party and suddenly they go into an impromptu demonstration. What a joke is that? You can't do that. You have to treat it with respect. If you don't show respect to the other side, how will they show you respect? And this is how it works. Ouija board, X, big X, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I had a couple of pretty scary experiences.
Well, there you go, Erica.
Yeah, I was 15. I was 15. I didn't know any better. And then
Yeah.
again, 25, and it was different people, different set. Everything was different 10 years later, and it was the same one that came through.
Yeah, I fully understand where you're coming from. Unfortunately, I went through Ouija board when I was 15, 16, somewhere around then at school. I went into a classroom. I didn't know what the hell they're doing. All the students had coins and these papers and they were doing these things. And I was fascinated. What's going on here? And in time, I started to see that it defied the logic. Because, yeah, okay, I couldn't explain why the coin was moving of its own accord here. But when I saw that they're asking, are you a good spirit? I thought, what absolute nonsense is this? So I thought, no, I don't believe in this.
If we're trying to communicate with our guides or open ourselves up so we can hear our guides better, because I'm sure they're talking to me, I just don't understand or I can't hear them. How do we know we're not opening up ourselves for something evil to come in.
Okay. Again, it's a very good question here. I go back to what I said earlier. You must perform the preparation for the sitting. So I wouldn't just sit there and open myself up. No, I start with a prayer. I ask for permission, and then I surrender myself and go through the process. At the end of which, I also close myself. Literally, I imagine myself closing down and bring myself back. When you are supposed to be communicating with anything, let them make the first move first. And if their communication comes through clear, very clear, as we're talking now, with clarity, then you know you're onto a good thing. If it's vague and not clear and so forth, I would stay back. Okay, I would stay back, because that means there's something that's not correct, something that's not right. Because when the communication is meant to be taking place, and when it is allowed and permitted to be taking place, you will see it, feel it, hear it clear as day. And you will know that this is undoubtedly an authentic communication.
Thank you.
Bless you. Neve, you raised your hand.
Well, thank you. Hello, Garo. Hello, everybody. Yeah, mine is, I think you've answered some, and thank you for your Q&A. I'm always in a feeling, well, it's not a feeling. I always seem to be in a state of healing. I know that I've been blessed to be gifted with something that I should be sharing. And I know in time when the angels want me to share, that will be my time. And I used to become, and I'm not now, but I used to go through a state of frustration as to when that time will be. But I always seem to be healing physically, emotionally, and spiritually from something. As I get over something else happens that the spirits heal me with. And I just sometimes think, well, is that what this present life is about? Am I just going to be, and I wouldn't do regression, but unfortunately, past has come back to haunt me. I haven't gone looking for it. It has come back to haunt me. And I've received healing spiritually and therapeutically for these things. But I'm always seem to be in a state where my earthly self feels like I'm not moving on spiritually, even though I know how close I am to God. I do believe that I am gifted to be doing something, but my earthly self seems to be in a struggle as to when do I stop healing? When do I, or you never stop healing, but when do I stop healing enough that I can help others? Yeah, I don't even know if that makes sense, what I've just said. But yeah, I just seem to feel like I'm always at a standstill, not abandoned. I know my angels are around me, but sometimes I don't sense or feel that I'm getting answers with my communications. So sometimes I do feel left alone, and I just feel like I'm a wandering nomad in, earthly and spiritually.
What does being left alone represent to you when we do it as humans? I mean, when for instance, if we're living together and I I saw you in a certain state, and I say, oh, Neve needs to be left alone. What does that represent to you?
I'm alone a lot, and I'm one of those people who will say, when I'm alone, I don't feel lonely. But sometimes when I don't feel a spiritual sense, that's when I feel lonely. I don't feel lonely in an earthly sense. I'm quite happy not to see another human being most of the time. I don't find human beings that nice most of the time, unless they're in need. But your average human being, they're out for themselves, and I don't have the time or energy for that. But when I pray, and whatever the blockages are, and I don't get a sense spiritually, then I feel alone, and that unnerves me. And I suppose my inner child, I feel lost. I feel emotionally childlike, like abandoned, I suppose. I feel abandoned and alone.
Okay. Why would you want to develop your gifts?
I believe it's there. I don't think it's there just for me to hold on to. I think it's there to be shared. And I think I have that, especially with, as you know, my younger son, his challenges and his difficulties. I think he was given to me purposely to ignite those kind of, to make me love in a different way, to open up more of my heart in a different way. Although I'd been a mother before, I just feel like I raised those two with ease. Like it was just like, yeah, crack on, you do it, didn't you? But with my son being extra special, I had to learn to love a different way. And I don't feel it was just for his purpose. I have a sense it was to share beyond that.
Okay, this is the point where I'm going to stop you. Let's move the sons out of the equation. So beyond that, who would you think the gift needs to be shared with?
Others
People.
that are in need. Yeah, other people who are crying out for spiritual and emotional help.
Fair enough.
Had
But
sought me out before.
okay, but fair enough. But then you earlier, and I'm not criticizing you, please don't take it personally, but you earlier referred to people in general being selfish and being ungrateful and so forth. Why would you want to help them?
But they're not the ones who I would probably be attracted to help, or who would come to me. Arrogant people feel like they've got it down. They don't need, they're not looking for someone else to help them. It will be like how I came to you initially when I first met you.
I'm going to stop you, Neve. I'm sorry. You're
Okay.
breaking the rule here.
Oh, am I?
You're breaking the rule. Let me explain to you how, okay? This is not a fault of your own. If you want to be in service of God, you give your love out unconditionally. Whether
Okay.
it's an arrogant idiot, selfish idiot, I've had to do healing on murderers, on people who have committed murder. I've had to work with despicable people. I've worked with a pedophile. I've worked with whatever. I am not here to judge. I'm the instrument of God. Because there was a cross, and on the right or the left, I can't remember, of our Lord was a criminal. Long story short, Jesus said that you will be with me in heaven. So my job is not to differentiate. And who am I at the end of the day? Bloody hell, I've done my share of nonsense as well in life. So I don't want to be judged, so I'm not going to judge. This is the sticky point. This is where I feel that the blessed angels won't give you that extra push to go out there. Make your peace with people. People are people. So accept them for who they are and remember why you're doing it. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for our Lord. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And as long as it becomes unfiltered, then it is unconditional love. And that is what is needed in this world, unconditional love. Because then you stand the chance of not healing someone to stop sneezing, or healing somebody to lose their headache. Then you're actually reaching to the soul and turning the bad into good and giving them hope. Because what the devil had made for them is set them in a way to see themselves as ugly and damned and condemned, and you bring them hope. See the work? It's very deep.
Yeah.
It's very deep.
Yeah, I think my view on what I said was more to do is that in my life I've come across a lot of ugly people, so it makes me withdraw. It's made me withdraw in my own company, and I think that's what's allowed me to kind of just be more in spirit rather than seek friendship. Of course, I work well with others. I can socialize, but I don't reveal a lot of myself. I don't give a lot of myself. And then when meeting's done or whatever, I can detract and I can leave and I can go my way, and I let people go their way.
Okay, well, turn this negativity into positive. One of the positives is, has it not been for these ugly people, you wouldn't have had the chance to meet me. I wouldn't have had the chance to meet you.
True.
Okay, so
Yeah.
whatever has happened is God's plan, and you're part of it. So turn this negativity into positivity. By withdrawing where you are, you're depriving yourself from expressing the love that you have in your heart, and you can see your love is so immense. You're making leaps and bounds with your two kids, especially that one who needs that extra attention, extra love, and you do it naturally. So I would say, don't go in, go out.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well done.
All right, thank you.
Bless you.
You were talking about doing house clearings earlier. And my question is, what's the best way to do that? And I know some people say, well, you need to open a window when you clear to allow the spirit to leave. Is that absolutely necessary?
To allow the energy to disperse.
Right. Okay.
Okay, that I agree with. However, I find it amusing and entertaining people bringing in props and paraphernalia like sage and crystals and so forth. And I've always found it quite interesting. Like, what the hell does the sage do? You burn it? No, I'd rather use it in the chicken in the kitchen. You know, burning sage will scare away the evil spirit. No, it won't. Faith does. Faith and only faith. When you stand your ground and you command them, this is my home. This is not your home. Get out. And that's what gets them out, not the sage.
My house was built in 1849.
Okay.
And it has a lot of history, American history to it. But there was a while where it was used for ghost hunting.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if you pull up my house on the internet, there's
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff about it. And a lot of
Okay.
it's ghost hunting. There are 2 rooms upstairs that I am very uncomfortable in. I keep the doors closed. I don't like to go in there. I get very uncomfortable in those rooms. I can't get windows open in those rooms right now. They're sealed shut. And I would like to do clearing so that I don't feel that way. But I didn't know really, because I can't get windows open.
Yeah.
Can I actually clear it?
It's not a prerequisite to have the window open, but I do say that if you are not grounded enough and if you're not ready for something like that, do not attempt it.
Okay.
Okay, we are dealing with energies that are far more sophisticated than us. We are dealing with things that could be dangerous potentially, that could link with us. So they might leave the house and link with you. There's so much potential there. So get somebody in, get a good medium, research them. And if they start talking money, oh, you have to pay for this, pay for that, then you know, oh, rubbish, get lost. If they take a modest amount for their time, that's acceptable. Do some
Okay.
research on them and see their credibility. Trust your instinct. Look them in the eye and see how you feel with them. You will know if this guy knows what he's talking about.
Okay.
Okay?
Great. Thank you.
But Janet, I would stress that you get this done sooner than later, because
Okay.
this ghost hunting business again, which I'm against, because that is like the thrill. Oh,
Oh,
did
I
you see
know.
that? Oh, did you see that? This could open up a portal. This could have opened up something, and it shouldn't be the case. I wish I was near you. I would have paid you a visit and done it for you.
Yeah. My house, like we called and ordered pizza and they couldn't find the house. And all I had to say was, it's the haunted house. Oh, I know what house it is. They won't come to my door when they deliver pizza. You know, I haven't had anything bad happen in the house. It's just for some reason, those 2 rooms make me uncomfortable.
Okay.
And I mean, I have had things moved in the house, but I never feel uncomfortable in the rest of the house. It's just those 2 particular rooms.
Okay. You never heard like a disturbance of sound, or something's moving or shifting or banging or anything?
No, nothing like that. It's just a feeling
Um,
of discomfort.
well, get somebody in just to put your mind at ease. I would say if you haven't heard distinct physical phenomena, then possibly that there might not be something there. And people can imagine things and hysteria can take place. So we don't know. Get somebody in and
Yeah.
rest your mind.
Yeah, the most recent thing, my husband and I went out, and when we came home, our laundry room is on the back it's like an enclosed porch, but the laundry room's on the porch, so it's kind of outside the main part of the house.
Yeah.
And when we left, the cat was inside the house, not accessible to the laundry room at all. When we came home, the cat was locked in the laundry room. That was the most recent thing that happened. And we kind of looked at each other and it was like, how'd the cat get in the laundry room? You know, and not only was he in the laundry room, but the door closes inward.
Okay.
And so it wasn't like it was inside, the door's inside and closes out. So he couldn't have closed the door, and the door was closed and latched. So somehow he got in the laundry room with the door closed and latched. And it's things like that happen, you know, especially with doors. We had one door we couldn't get open for a year, and then all of a sudden it was open. It was very weird.
I'm going to ask you a question on behalf of everyone here. Why are you there?
The house is very historical. My husband restores old homes for a living, and we're retiring this next year. He's already retired, and we're restoring it to retire in. We love the house.
Okay.
It's just, I want to know that it's safe and it's comfortable. I've never really been completely comfortable in this house, but it does, you know, but it's so important to him to be here. He absolutely loves his home, and I want him to be happy.
Okay.
The day, if he, heaven forbid, he passes before me, I'm out of here. But that's why we're here.
Well, I understand. I mean, it's sentimental value, and of course, you're attached to the house, you feel. So I would say go through the process, get a priest, and not just any priest. You know, see how you feel with them, if they know this sort of thing, and if they are nice priests as well. So
Okay.
a priest or a minister or a spiritualist, or just seek help.
Okay,
Okay, and someone will
Okay.
come and hopefully clear it for you.
great. Thank you.
I seem to pick up on other people's feelings a lot. And it's always been this way when I go, well, years ago, I went to a funeral with my husband. I did not know the decedent or his family, but my husband did. So I went with him, and I saw the daughter and she was crying. And all of a sudden, I was almost hysterical with tears. And then today I went to a seminar and they paired me with someone I didn't know. But as soon as we sat down, her negativity just invaded me. She was so negative, nothing was right. everything was a complaint. And I got so negative, I got so upset, I wanted to leave, and I paid for this seminar. So I know what Neem is talking about, that you want to stop this bombardment of other people's feelings and be by yourself. How do you shield yourself?
Oh, shielding yourself. This is a very difficult question I've been struggling with for years. When it comes at a human level, I find it easier for me to shield myself from negativity from the other side, as opposed to people here on this side. People
Mhm.
can be very, very cruel here, as you know. Unfortunately, it sounds to me here that your sensitivity is heightened. So when you go to when you went to the funeral, you felt like sobbing, you connected. I would say this could be any one of many things here. Either you picked up the pain to ease the pain on the daughter, so you were doing the crying for her, because there seems to be a peak by which, if we hit the peak, then we can no longer cry. It stays inside. It's so devastating, we can't express it. So perhaps you tapped into that, or you tapped into something else, or you just felt collective energy here. I would say next time you go to something like this, to a funeral or to a specific situation where there is sadness involved, hospitals or something, I would say ground yourself. Negative people, you need to find a way to shield yourself from them by not allowing your emotions to come in the way. If you know how to do that, and if you manage to do that, Fran, drop me a mail and let me know, because I need to learn how to do that myself. It's so hard. It's so hard, so hard. Perhaps in your case, maybe next time, if you see that it's unsuitable, maybe you can ask the organizers to pair you up with somebody else. And if they say they can't, then you say, okay, I refuse to attend, give me a full refund. I won't be part of this.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Anyway, her loss, not yours. You need to understand this. Yeah.
So when you're doing a reading, are there things that you won't say? Do you have anything off limits that you just won't say?
You mean, do I filter some of the stuff coming through?
Yeah.
I don't. However, if they use bad language, then I warn the client that they're using bad language. Most of the stuff that comes through is humorous, because the energy on the other side is good energy. So I had a father who came through for his daughter, and the father was telling me something about a separation, and I said, did you separate from your husband? And she said, yes. And I said, I felt from the father he didn't like him, and I could see in my mind's eye. So I told her, I said, your dad didn't like him. And she said, she answered in a diplomatic way. They didn't get along and so forth. Then I get distinctly the word son of a bitch. And I told her, I said, this is exactly what your dad is telling me. And she laughed and laughed. She said, this is exactly how my father speaks. This is the term he used about him, and he's still using it from the other side. I didn't filter this, because if I was to filter it, it loses its value in the context, and it's not fair on her.
Hi. Nice to see you. I guess my question's about faith. I wondered how you strengthen your faith, how you it's rather a difficult question to answer, perhaps. I'm trying to frame something here about getting deeper into a faith, more commitment to a faith. How do you go about that? I mean, how do you build it? How do you build the trust? How do you overcome the fear? How do you commit deeper? How did you go about it? Or is it a natural process that just happens?
First of all, I believe to each his own, his or her own. Okay, everyone has their way of having faith. Everyone has their reasons, and everyone's path is different.
Mm.
Ever since I was a child, I was experiencing visitations and experiences from the other side. So I knew from a very young age that there is something out there. What it was, I didn't know what it was. And I still don't know. We don't know what it is. However, through the 30+ years of service, I have seen with my own eyes some incredible things taking place that have absolutely cemented my faith. I don't believe in repetitive prayer. That's not faith. Faith is actually believing when the test comes, because we're all tested, if you want to call it tested, but we all hit these bottom lines. And to hold yourself together through that storm and emerge on the other side, that's when the faith starts to grow. You see where I'm coming from?
Mm.
So that's one way for me. That's how it worked with me, because I would always have faith that this is how it's going to be. The outcome will be good. People will come through. I have faith in people who would come to see me for healing. I have faith in people that are going through difficult times and doing whatever they're doing to recover. And that strengthens it for me.
Thank you. Regarding self-healing, I just wanted to ask, not so, it might be too personal to say how do you do it, but I always pray through the light, but I was wondering, is there anything else that we can do for ourselves, I can do for myself? Is there any other tools other than prayer or meditation that we can use for physical ailments, and just all round self-healing?
We are given a multitude of tools here to help us. The first of all, by priority order here, I would say the top here for me is the prayer, and asking genuinely for help, connecting with them, speaking with them. Actually visualize, I actually feel that I'm conversing to somebody, that
Yeah.
my message is actually reaching. And I say and I ask them, I say, if this is your will, Father God, let it be, please, and help me. Okay, because it's his will, not mine.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Two, I would go through the blue light meditations, because the blue light meditation is quite incredible. I've seen people really benefit from it. Three, remember the golden rule here. Sometimes the body speaks what we can't express emotionally. So if we have things that are repressed, we're sad about, deep hurt, sometimes the body says, you know what? I'm going to rebel, because she can't cry, because she can't express this pain. I'm going to feel pain. So there's that connection as well. So luckily, science also is moving forward by leaps and bounds, so they can help us with medication and so forth. So we have several options out there.
So I'm just wondering, do you communicate regularly or on purpose with any of your own loved ones, or try to communicate with famous people?
I just send them loving thoughts. Let's put it this way. I just think of them, and I tell them, I miss you. I love you. I miss you. However, I don't consciously connect with them. I've had maybe 1 or 2 visitations from loved ones on the other side, and I'll leave it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you were talking about the blue light. Can you explain a little bit more about that? Because I've not heard about that before.
Can you drop me a message on Facebook or an email, whatever, and I will share a link with you to the exercise which I used to take my workshop, because I have a workshop every Sunday, and I took them through a blue light exercise.
Okay,
So
will
you
do.
can listen to it and see if this is something that you'd like to do. And if you do, then go through the process, and I hope it will be a great benefit to you.
Great, thank you.
Can I ask you another question? I mean, low-level entities and things like this, are they quite common? Can they jump in and out of you quite often? And do you need to clear yourself regularly for these sort of things? Like little rather than demons, but the more low-level entities and things like this. I mean,
Okay, the rule of thumb here, nothing actually jumps in and out of you. However, unless you have opened yourself up, nothing will intrude upon you, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Okay, so if you observe and respect natural law, then nothing will come near you. But if you start messing about, for instance, with mind-altering substances, drugs, if you start engaging in things that you shouldn't be doing, like the Ouija board, or engaging in practices like witchcraft, black magic, or things like that, then you're opening yourself up. If you mix with people who have a darker energy within them, then you're opening yourself up to the possibility that you might pick something up. If you go into a house that has something that's negative, you're opening yourself up. So it doesn't just occur. You're not walking in the street and you suddenly get possessed or something like that. They don't link with you unless you actually authorize it.
But you're not always aware, are you? Because if you might not be immediately aware that there's dark energies in a building, or that somebody is carrying darkness.
And
you might not spot it right away.
Yes, you don't, but you feel it. You feel something is not right. This is what's beautiful. And if you have pets, like a cat, for instance, the cat reacts. So, you know, you will feel there is something that's not right here. Never ignore the feeling. The feeling tells you. It will never betray you. Your feeling is your key here.
I'm not always that good. I've actually made some right boo-boos in the past.
We all make silly mistakes. Some people have done mistakes that cost them their life because they didn't listen to their instinct. I have to reiterate that the low-level energies, entities, demons, whatever you want to refer, these are very scarce, very, very scarce. And they do not affect us as much as the movies like to portray that they do, okay? They are very limited. Fortunately, the power of good is collectively much stronger than the bad. Even though we live in a world that appears to be bad at this time, well, we can see bad spots happening here and there, but that doesn't reflect the whole world. There are some beautiful souls out there doing God's work at many different levels. My mission in life has brought me closer to medical doctors, nurses, police officers, firemen, and so forth, all who are doing God's work at a human level. And all of them shine like little stars collectively, bringing out the light of this universe. So don't let these imbeciles, you know, the politicians and all these bad energies affect your vision of life. Life is beautiful. Life is not theirs. Life is ours. Life is good. God is good. Okay? So I need to reiterate that. Please do not be affected by these negative things. They don't affect you unless you allow them to affect you. Neve, I'm going to take a last question here. So please go ahead.
It was just a comment, Garo. You made a comment that about all our smiling faces. Well, yourself, you've been you're very warm and very welcoming, and you've equally been just as pleasing to watch and to listen to. So thank you.
Bless your heart, Neve. That's so nice of you to say. Thank you very much. I actually enjoyed and I love the connection with all of you here. And it's been a really privilege here as well, linking with you. So I do hope that we will reconnect in the future. I am going to post future Q&As. I have to let you know, I have a Facebook page. If you're not on my Facebook page, please consider to become part of it. It's facebook.com/Garo Medium. So join my Facebook page and you'll be updated, because I will always update there such events. Okay. Furthermore, because today I feel a very special day here, I was going to select randomly 2 people to receive a reading. However, I've decided to change the formula here. I'm going to give each one of you a free reading.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Garo.
That's absolutely
That's so
lovely.
kind. Thank you.
God be
Carol,
with you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I feel so
Cheers.
blessed.